up in the top right-hand corner, it's going to be Juke2. He is for, or Juke2, excuse me. He is the blue Zerg. He's going to be playing for Clarity, and he is going up against the red Terran. Dust Parker spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner. He's up 1-0 so far. Very nice TVT to start out. A very strong two-base TVT. Very surprising that he never went for a third in that, but you know what? It worked out for him, so I can't sit there and bash on him any bit whatsoever for the way he played. And now, I mean, this is definitely going to be a great game here. ZVT, the map is going to be GSL Daybreak.
Yeah, and I mean, why would you need a third if you can just float your command center over to their base?
Exactly.
And land it right next to their army. There's no need for it.
Yeah, and the Manor command center that was slowly working its way over. Definitely a little slower than Manor Mules, but you know what? That seems to be possibly the style here of Parker, is the slow floating command center. That's his way of being a little bit more mannered. He says, you know what? I'll give you the time to get out of the game while my command center floats, and if you wait until it gets there, well, then I'll go ahead and drop it down.
I just actually really want to touch upon Juke2's really awesome scouting methods. You can see that he sent his first Overlord down one path. He sends his second Overlord checking across the other locations, and then he sends his first scouting drone down all the way over to the third, just all scouting around for any potential proxies, any kind of cheesy shenanigans that Parker could be going for. And that is just a sign of a really refined and awesome player who knows, like, you know what, this game is important. I don't want to afford to lose it on something silly right now, so gonna be super safe. Gonna make sure I scout out all the possible locations, and he's gonna feel, I think, relatively comfortable seeing, oh, it's a command center first. So
yep,
I guess no at least cheese is gonna be attacking me immediately. What do you think about the command center first, though?
I mean, I think it's a very safe play. I love it out of Terran players because you can go command center first and still win against a 6 pool. I mean, I've seen a lot of players do that still as Terran. I've done that a few times, command center first for 6 pool wins. So I feel like it's a very safe option. I feel like the 10 pool, I think it is, you can have a little bit of difficulty dealing with. But really, you know, I love the play. It's a great way to kind of macro up right there with the Zerg, because most Zergs open up hatch first. 95% of Zergs open up hatch first in this matchup. Why not open up command center first as well? And then you kind of see what happens there. But really quickly touching, of course, on the scouting, as you were saying before, just great play. Not one, because you can see the proxy, but 2, now he has Overlords in position. He's got this one Overlord that he can fly into the main. He's got the other one here that he can scout at the natural, see if anything's going to the third, see if anything's going to go ahead and exit this base, any sort of early Marines. Yeah. I mean, it's just great play. Everything's kind of set up, and I feel like a lot of Zerg players don't do this, and that's something that they can definitely add to their play, is just setting up things for the later game, setting up Overlords for scouting later, so they don't have to get to 7 minutes and say, oh, I need to scout, oh, I don't have an Overlord anywhere near.
Yeah, that was really painful to see. And actually, I want to really quickly note that Juke2 has actually already taken a gas geyser. Now, I feel like this is something that a lot of Zergs have strayed away from for quite a while now. They've generally gone gasless for a much longer period of time, and only now just taking all those guys out of gas and getting the Zergling speed. So, I mean, do you think that Juke2 is going to be a little bit more aggressive right now?
I mean, I would imagine so for sure, simply because we saw right there, or we've seen in the past, you know, where those Zergs do forgo the gas and they just grab that fast third base, but then they're really kind of spread thin. They're just trying to defend everything. They have the queens and stuff, but sometimes that's not enough to deal with, you know, if they bring in a mass like Marine, Marauder, Hellion force. I mean, I've seen definitely seen some Terrans who go ahead and go for that really strong hit early on. And so now it's like, okay, you know, I can go ahead and just grab this gas, get speed out, then I can pick off any SCVs, I can pick off any Marines that charge at me, I can be a little bit more prepared for defense, maybe catch some spare Hellions, and it just kind of allows for, and it also makes the Terran play a little bit more scared. Generally, though, Parker is grabbing this third command center anyways. He says, I don't care. I always grab another command center, so he doesn't always, but, you know. Yeah, and grabbing double upgrades at this point. So he is definitely preparing for the later game. As we see, he only has these 5 Marines on the map and nothing else.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be a pretty thin defense if Juke2 decides to go all in with a lot of aggression. I mean, he does have both of those gas geysers, both at the natural and in the main mining. Doesn't actually have a third or fourth just quite yet, but I'm curious to see what he's going to end up doing with that gas, when he's going to end up deciding to grab lair tech, or if he's going to even go for I mean, I've seen a lot of Zerg players end up going for that Roach Warren in this matchup just to deal with Hellions and sometimes even just to put on a little bit of light aggression.
Yep. And so both players going to be getting those fast early upgrades. As we can see, 1-1 has been started for each of them. So it doesn't look like Jukto's really going to go for any sort of quick, aggression. Which, of course, as you were saying, you can get those fast Ling run-bys and stuff. And had he done that, Parker would be in a lot of trouble. But he did not. He took that third base instead. And so both players just get a macro up.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of calculated risk. You say, well, I'm going to just take a little bit of a risk to say, you know what, my opponent is not going to go just a big all-in on 2 bases or something. I'm going to say, you know what, if he goes for 3 bases and he won't be able to punish me appropriately or anything for this kind of greedy play that I'm doing, but I'm going to get a little bit further ahead. But now we actually see Jukto throwing down that Baneling Nest. It does have +1/+1 with the melee attacks being researched and a bunch of Zerglings actually popping out. So I'm curious to see what kind of damage he's going to be able to do with this little Zergling move out.
Yeah, and I mean, this is actually still possible to be effective right here. He has a lot of links. He could morph in a few Banelings if he wanted, but I mean, he could even just run these straight through, and if he catches before this bunker finishes right here, we could see Parker possibly in a lot of trouble as he does not have a lot of units. And here we go. The Lings are going to start moving in at this point. The units will fall back into the bunker. Is he going to get a surround on it?
Not quite, but it looks like the SCVs are able to repair, but the SCV is also under attack from a lot of those Zerglings, so we're going to have to see how many SCVs he's been able to pick up. Oh my god! He's only really killed 5 workers. I don't think he was actually worth it there.
It was, I don't know, very close. I mean, if we look at the units lost tab right here, it was a little bit more in favor of Parker, but killing off SCVs for some Lings, not a terrible trade-off right there. I kind of wish he would have run up into the main. I feel like that was always open. At least tried a few Lings up, like 4 or 5, just in case it had been open. But instead, he tried to get surrounded in the bunker. Didn't quite. The SCVs had some great hold position, micro around it, repair, hold position, of course, just to be as annoying as ever. And, I mean, I think Jukto knows there's a third command center in that base of Parker, and he went for that early one, considering how little units he had. But look at the production facilities inside of Parker's base.
Oh my god, that is so many barracks. I mean, you could basically open up a school with that many barracks. I mean, why not just open up an academy?
An academy, yeah. There are 9 barracks on the field. That is insane at this point. I mean, I love it, though. This is something as well. I was kind of ragged on Zergs before for not getting things set up in the early game. Well, you know what? Now I can kind of rag on Terrence a little bit. Do this stuff more. Get these production facilities down. I mean, yes, we do see Parker being extremely greedy. He was, took that fast third. He didn't get units for a long time. I mean, he definitely was a greedy player there. But, wow, I mean, this right here is just... This is amazing to look at. There's going to be so many units.
There's one thing I'm going to say, though. There's one thing I'm going to say, and that's that, there are not actually going to be all that many medevacs out, especially considering, Parker has invested so heavily in getting up all of these add-ons. We have a ton of reactors down, as well as even a couple of tech labs out on these barracks. So what that's going to mean against the fact that Jukto is going for a lot of Zerglings and a lot of Banelings with those heavy upgrades on melee attack is that he needs to make sure he splits properly, because he's not going to have enough medevacs to really heal up those units.
Oh no, and here it looks like we might get some units cut. Yes, they will. The Baneling's going to roll in. Will they do too much damage? Little bit right there, and he's just going to continue to roll straight towards these SCVs. There are Banelings, though. Oh my god!
The
30
SCVs have been killed now by Jukto, and the Zerglings are going to go ahead and retreat, happily knowing that they have done enough damage.
Oh my goodness. 30 SCVs just blew up at one time. That's
a game changer.
Disgusting to watch. Oh my gosh, that was so ridiculous. And I mean, we just saw that Parker couldn't get that supply depot up. It looked like, I mean, everything just kind of continued to roll through right there. The units kind of got caught out of position. They got caught in the middle, and now we see Jukto once again just going to start streaming in with these Lings. He has a great economy. He's got so many units out here. Going to throw some infested Terrans down. He can fungal growth these medevacs as well. They're all going to clump up for him if he wants. One goes down, another one's going to go down, and all 3 medevacs will go down. Jukto with the 4th base with a hive now, just going to continue to put the pressure on. He has Burrow, he has an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. He's got 3-3 on the way. He's going to go ahead and start denying this 3rd base of Parker, and just like that, Parker pushes out a little too early, I want to say, and just absolutely gets decimated.
Yeah, that surround, just stopping all those units from saying, you know what? All my banelings are going to connect with your units because, you know what? You just went out a little bit too far. My Zerglin's got a full surround on your units, and that's it. That's all it takes if you get out of position just once. So you have to be so careful with that Terran army. And, I mean, Parker can still maybe make some comebacks. He's only down about 35 or so supply, but the real hit is going to be that economy. He needs to figure out a way to catch up, either do some drops or something of the sort. What do you think about that?
I mean, at this point, he definitely wants to try and secure the third base. It looks like that's what he's definitely going to do. Can he just keep Jukto back at his fifth right here? Can he just say, you know what, hold back? I mean, there's not enough of an army to really do too much damage, so he needs to be careful. And he is just going to get caught yet again. Baneling's continuing to stream in. There's no splits. Not that he really had enough units to split anyways. Some more reinforcements going to stream in behind. I mean, everything's just kind of too spread out at this point. I would have liked to seen him wait to utilize these 9 barracks a little bit more. I mean, he's going to be able to push forward and at least get a cancel on this hatchery. So you can say, you know, kudos for that. That's definitely going to be helpful. But at this point, you know, it's like, oh, this is so scary. And I mean, Ultra's gone the way. We have adrenal glands. I mean, it's definitely...
Ultra coming out. Chitinous plating going to be done very soon, as well as +3/+3. We're going to have 5-3 Ultralists out against this. It's kind of, honestly, a little bit of a paltry force, and Parker has to get out of the center. Oh no, this is exactly what I was afraid. He's going to get completely surrounded by all these Zerglings. And, I mean, Jukto not even bothering to use fungal growth on the Marines.
Nope, he's just going to save it for these medevacs and not allow for any evacuations whatsoever and continue to push forward. And, I mean, Parker just continually throws away units at this point. I'm not liking the 10 Marines, 2 Marauder forces that just keep streaming out. It's not going to be effective against this Infestor Ultra Ling army right here. I much rather would have liked to have seen him just kind of go up for a big defense at his third base or something and really try and secure that. But, I mean, he was unable to. Now we're going to see Jukto just start streaming in over towards this base. He's just going to start focusing down this bunker. SCVs get chain fungled. So many SCVs have gone down this game. 56, 57, 58. I mean, just continue to do so much damage. The third base yet again going to fall. This time might actually get completely picked off as it's going to go into the red at least. We'll start burning no SCVs over there to repair it at this time. And I mean, here we just see Jukto continuing to push forward, going to back off a tiny bit to morph some Broodlords. And Parker's going to come down here and be like, oh man, I have to deal with these. God. And he's going to actually start picking them off as Jukto has his Ultralisk hold positioned right outside of this. So he's going to kill off
Ultralisks.
Oh no.
Looks like we're having a little bit of lag from one of the players, but I mean, Jukto, he's so close, and
Parker.
This could be devastating, actually.
This would be a terrible lag out. Oh my goodness. I still can't believe... I mean, this is probably why Jukto was not reacting to the Marines killing off his Broodlords at the same point, though, you know?
Yeah, and also, those Ultras, I mean, you can see it on the screen right now. Those Ultralists are literally right next to the Marines, but not reacting. All the Infestors also over there. So this could actually just be really terrible. I feel like if Jukto can at least reconnect before any of this stuff happens, I mean...
Even losing... Okay, so Parker is going to GG out of the game, which is a very mannered move by him, as we can definitely see. 166 to 81 supply. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely... This game was definitely in favor of Jukto. So... I do appreciate that from Parker here, and we're going to go ahead and have to drop Jukto. So hopefully he can get his internet issues fixed, get back in this game. Well played by Jukto. He's going to go ahead and even up this series 1-1.
And, I mean, I honestly have so much respect for Parker right now. That is just so incredibly mannered, and huge props. I mean, just big shout out to Parker for being man enough to do something like that. Saying, you know what, it was just an unfortunate situation. Like, I was very far behind. He knew that his third had constantly been denied. He was up against a close to 5 base Zerg, and chances were very, very slim that he was going to be able to come back in that game. I mean, Jukto played really phenomenally, despite the fact that, I mean, we were praising some of the stuff that Parker was doing earlier on in the game. It ended up not working out, going for all those barracks and all those add-ons earlier. And
I think he just pushed out. I think it was just the push-out timing. You know, he pushed out and just got caught, and that hurt him. You know, once he lost that initial force, then the 30 SCVs blowing up at once, that was kind of just a killer move. But yeah, I mean... Parker definitely could have said, no, you know what? I could have still won that. Remake. And we'd have to, of course, consult with the admins, but
Hmm.
and here we go. We're actually going to get an update of what the situation is for Jukto.
Hmm.
So
As yeah, even if of course, Jucto ends up winning that game because Parker said, you know what, Jucto, you outplayed me in that game, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the win on that. Jucto still has to play the next game, so hopefully we'll have the lag issues sorted out. And actually, speaking of some of the lag issues, I know there have been a couple of talks over in the chat saying that there has been a little bit of lag on the stream, so hopefully we can get that sorted out for you guys.
there's been a little lag on the stream. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Has it been what kind of lag? If you could, huh? That's really strange. I don't know why there should be lag right now. Stream's
Looks like
not
it's just a
lagging.
couple
Okay,
of
so
people.
just some people are having the lag.
Just
So
let us know again, guys, if you are experiencing some lag. If it turns out to be a good number of people, we'll definitely let you guys know. Actually, we have the utility to see, on our little streaming application, we can see if we're dropping frames, if we're actually lagging on our end, or if it's Twitch end. If it's Twitch end, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do.
Yeah.
But, we'll definitely try and do our best to make sure it's actually not some kind of really horrible experience for you guys.
yeah. And we just got an update from the manager of Clarity. Jukto left his power cord in Sweden, unfortunately, and he's using a laptop power cord until the new one gets here. And apparently his computer just completely blew up. So Clarity going to have to take the next loss, they said. So it looks like they're just going to go ahead and forfeit the second game right here. And lose Jukto, and then they will go ahead and swap in a new player. So Dusk now going to go up 2-1. So that last game kind of ending up in a draw, you could almost say, as Dusk goes up 2-1 right there. It works out,
Yeah, I mean, both teams end up forfeiting that game.
Yeah.
And, kind of funny how it ends up working out.
Yeah,
But,
I love that.
I mean, hey,
he leaves
if
the
there's-
power
if-
cord in Sweden.
If a player is going to, get the win through a forfeit, I would actually have it be a player like Parker who is manner enough to have said, you know what, look, you deserve to have won this game. Like, I'm going to go ahead and forfeit myself. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have, like, a win go to someone, might as well be to a good-hearted person like Parker.
Exactly. No, I mean, that is... It's kind of good karma right there. You know what? You did the right thing. You GG'd out. And you know what? It paid off because you get the win back as well.
It's karma.
It's karma. Good karma. That's what we'll go ahead and say.
So yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit more out of Dust Parker. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to open up in this next game. As Clarity's going to have to send out a new player. They could send out a Protoss player at this point.
Will it be Parker?
That is-
No. Parker will.
Wait.
Parker's still going to take the loss.
Oh wait, Parker is taking the loss.
Parker takes the loss, so it goes to 1-1.
Oh,
And
I
then
see.
in the next game, they pretend Jongto lost, so then Dusk goes up 2-1. So now
Nice.
both teams are going to be sending out new players. That's
Brand new
my
opportunity.
understanding. That is my understanding. Brand new opportunity. Dust is going to be up 2-1 at this point, and yeah, and okay, it looks like Duster.
Oh man,
favorite.
funny story. Do you want to tell this story, Llama?
You go ahead. You go ahead.
All right.
How do I?
So we were casting here in the URTL, of course, during the before the playoffs and just the group stages, and we encountered Duster. Now, for quite a long while during that cast, we were just calling him ER or just because we thought it was Team Dust's ER instead of Duster. We didn't put two and two together. At least I didn't put two and two together until
Yeah.
Llama said it.
It took us a little bit. So we were sitting there.
Oh,
Dusty
man.
R is going to be moving. Oh wait. Oh, that's Duster.
Actually,
Oh,
we were,
okay.
we were talking about how funny it would be if actually Team Clarity had a player named Duster rather than Team Dust having a player named Duster. Because then, Clarity goes down. They end up going down 3-0. And then, you know what? They send out Duster for the reverse all kill because he's going to just dust the floor off of them.
There's a lot of great cheesy sayings that could be said were Duster on Team Clarity. But no, he's going to be on Team Dust. Duster. Or Dusty R. Maybe it is actually his name. Highly doubtful, though. I do believe it's Duster. It's Duster. There's no way it's Dusty R. So Yong is going to go ahead and decide the map for Clarity since they do technically get that that loss right there.
He goes by ER.
I think
Apparently, he goes by
I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
I think
I
they're
don't know
just.
if
I
we're
think they're
being
just
trolled
trolling
right
us in
now,
the
Llama.
chat. I think they're just trolling us in the chat.
But what if we're wrong, Llama? We'll just feel terrible about this. Except,
All right.
oh man,
So it
I don't
is going
know.
to be Cloud.
ER is a pretty cool name. Emergency room.
GSL Cloud. Yeah. I'm Dust Parker. Oh, okay. In the chat. Hi, Dust
Hello,
Parker. Well done. Mad props to you for your manner.
Big hearts to Parker.
Oops.
And actually, we just want to note that we have the voting up for the next game, and once again, it's going to be Clarity's Yong versus Duster. So please go ahead and vote over at xanderfever.tv/vote. I'll put a link in the chat so you guys can go ahead and check that out and vote for who you think is going to win, or maybe who you just want to win.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it could be who you think, or you know what, if you're on one of the teams or something, vote for your teammate, right? Give them a little support. Hopefully you're not voting against your own team. Like, oh no,
God.
this guy's
That'd be
terrible.
so mean.
There's no way. So hopefully there's a little bit of team support going on right there. And there is the link, of course, in the chat. Go over there and vote. And the map's going to be Cloud Kingdom, as decided by Yong. If you want to go ahead and get that one started up there, Fear Dragon, you can go ahead and get ready to hop into the game fairly shortly. Of course, just make sure all the players are ready. You know, there's a little bit of confusion there in the past, as we had the issue with Jukto forgetting his power cord and disconnecting at the end of the game and thus having no more power. So he has forfeited his third game, or his second game, but the third game of the series. Dust takes it. They're up 2-1. And we are going to get ready to hop on into this very shortly. And while we wait, of course, check out our sponsors, because they make the whole URTL possible. And of course, URTL Season 2, which will be coming up, you know, of course, after these playoffs, possibly here. So in the spring, we will have URTL Season 2. And so, you know, they make that possible as well. So SC2 Gears, Next Level SC2, and Origin Gaming PCs.
Yeah, definitely go ahead and check them out, as anyone that supports esports is super awesome. And looks like we have a little bit of spam going on in the chat, but no worries. And actually, I assume it's spam. That popped up pretty fast, so.
Was there spam that just popped up? Did completely missed it. All right, let's create game.
Anyways, regardless,
GSL.
yeah, would love to know who you guys think is actually going to be supporting, as we do have that voting set up. And actually, you'll notice that over in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, just to the left of the actual, you know, the little area where you have things like Sonic Storm and all that kind of stuff, you'll notice that we have a little area that says, oh, you know, such and such percent has actually voted for, say, Duster, such and such percent has voted for Yong. So love to hear your thoughts on that over at xanderfever.tv/vote. And if you have some time while you're waiting for the games to get up, please go ahead and subscribe to Your Gaming over here on this Twitch channel. That's at twitch.tv/YourGaming. But with that being said, we're ready to jump in this next game, Llama. I'm pretty excited. How about you?
I am extremely excited, and a complete switch of the races here, as we were dealing with TVT, some TVZ action right there. Would have thought we would have seen something ZVX, and instead, instantly with the forfeit and the issues from the disconnect, jump into a PvP.
And PvP is actually my favorite mirror matchup, so I'm pretty excited about this, especially Cloud Kingdom. I mean, Cloud Kingdom is really well known for certain styles of PvP, but with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players.
We will go ahead and do that. So, spawning up in the top left-hand corner, or top right-hand corner, excuse me, we are going to have Duster, the blue Protoss, and he is going to be going up against the red Protoss. Find on the bottom left-hand corner, his name is Yong, and he is playing for Team Clarity. The map is Cloud Kingdom PvP. What do you expect to see on this map? Because personally, I think we're going to see Blink Stalkers.
Blink Stalkers, exactly. And I mean, the reason for that is just because of those ridges that this map actually has around your main base. It is so easy to blink up from either toward the natural expansion of your opponent, or even over by the third expansion of your opponent into the main base, do a little bit of harassment, and then immediately blink out, just because it's so easy to do that and be so far away from the main ramp where your opponent's army is most likely going to be sitting. So
Yep.
The question is going to be whether or not a player does not go for Blink Stalkers, and if that's the case, are they going to be going for a robotics facility? Are they going to be going for Stargate play? oftentimes I feel like Stargate play not really strong on maps where Blink Stalker play is very, very well, much used.
Very true. And I mean, um, I've seen a lot of players kind of go for Robo, but at the same time, I once saw a game where a player went for a Robo, which I assume was kind of on this map just to kind of counter that sort of Blink Stalker. And in response, another player actually opened with Stargate, so it was kind of a double meta game. And the Stargate ended up just completely destroying the Robo as he got over there and he was like, oh, okay, you went Stargate and I went Robo. That's not good for me. So, I mean, how could it play out? It could be a metagame or a double metagame, or one player could simply just prefer some sort of opening. You know what? I always open up Stargate. It always works for me. I can deal with Blink Stalkers really well with it somehow, so I'm just going to continue to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see all kinds of metagaming going on. But in the meanwhile, what are some of the signs we can see just to see what the players are likely going to be going for? Is there something with chrono boost or gas timings that we can look at?
Sure, and I mean, of course, the first thing that you want to look at as a protest player is, am I getting 4-gated, right? So right now, if you look at Yong, he goes and he sees the vision of the Duster. He sees chrono boost going down on the Nexus. He sees second gas. He says, no, there's no 4-gate going down. I feel pretty safe. However, if we look over in Duster's base, or over in Yong's base, what Duster sees, he sees a lot of chrono boost still on this Nexus right here, not really being spent on probes. A second gas has gone down, no third pylon yet. Chrono boost on the Cybernetics core, he has to be preparing for some sort of early pressure. Is it going to be a 4-gate? We don't really know yet. And Duster still kind of has to be scared of that. You know, the gas did go up, but if it is not mined for a long time, and here he's going to send some guys to mine, it looked like Yong was possibly just doing that because of the scout from Duster. So will he pull these guys off if they mine for less than 30 seconds? Then
2 in each gas geyser.
Yeah, and there's 2 in each gas geyser actually up in Duster's base as well, like you were saying. So I don't know, is Yong going to pull off here of this gas? Will he continue with it? What exactly is going to be his opening here?
I feel like almost regardless of whether he goes for a 4-gate or not, he's just going to be able to take a little bit of advantage of the fact that his work gate technology is actually 40 seconds ahead of his opponent's Llama. And I mean, with a 40-second lead, that means that your first warp-in is going to be able to come in 40 seconds ahead of your opponent. You're going to be able to get basically a full warp-in round ahead of your opponent in terms of army. So you can do a lot of damage if your opponent is not prepared for that, especially if they don't have enough sentries to actually defend. But I mean, if we actually take a look at Duster's base, he already has 2 sentries popped out. This is kind of interesting play.
Yeah, so Duster is going extremely heavily in the sentries, and he is getting the Stargate, which is what you would expect if you see those sentries like that. That's saying, hey, I really need to kind of chill and back off and be safe. But what do we see going down in Yong's base? We see the Twilight Council and Blink. So Blink Stalkers, as we said, so common on this map right here. And he's going up against Stargate play. I don't think you could really ask for too much more as a Blink Stalker player. That's exactly what you want to see. You want to see Stargate because you could just get in there. The Phoenix can't really do too much to you. And then, of course, you know, if there's no Robo, there's no Immortals to pop out, which are really kind of the counter to the Blink Stalkers here. So I feel like Yong, so far, with a build order win.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, you have to keep in mind that just because it is Blink Stalkers versus Stargate play does not at all mean that Yong has this game in the bag.
Oh, no, not at all.
He has a lot of micro ahead of him.
Right. I mean, that's like you're saying. There's definitely no way you can just be like, oh, I automatically win this game. It's just, you know what? He's in a slightly better position. Here he has a Robo going down to get that Observer out. He's got a 4th gateway going down as well. Going to be warping in additional Stalkers right here. And a lot of pylons out along the map right here for a Duster. So decent for, of course, you know, warping in a little bit later if he wants to go for some sort of big hit. But the Phoenix can get over, gonna scout the Blink Stalker, and what will his reaction be?
Yeah, I mean, Blink is about to finish up, so you should actually be prepared to start doing a little bit of damage to that Phoenix. The Phoenix comes in and does not see the Twilight Council. Actually doesn't really see much of anything. Doesn't even see the robotics facility that made the observers. So, I mean, these Phoenix need to go in once again to get a little bit of a scout off. That's one of the advantages you have to take advantage of, is just the fact that those Phoenixes should be able to scout out everything.
Right, but at the same time, he sees a lot of Stalkers. He sees Blink now. It is revealed as he blinks forward to try and hit those Phoenix, and we should see a Chrono Boosted Immortal very soon out of Duster. As soon as he gets Chrono Boost, I would imagine it's going to go down on Robotic Facility, because that is going to be what he needs to get out to go ahead and defend against this push right here for Phoenix. There goes the Chrono Boost on this Immortal. Will these Blink Stalkers be able to get in there in time and do enough damage? They do have vision at this point, so they can blink up if they want. Yes, they will. They're going to blink up, start focusing down these Phoenix right here who are going to back off. There's a lot of Zealots, not going to be too effective in that army composition. The Immortal pops out, but he's going to get focused down. Oh no, is he going to lose it? He